Lisa here. So today I want to talk about emotional eating and what is my experience and basically how I overcame emotional eating. And if you have read my book, then so this is my book. And if you have read my book, then you probably have an idea what I think about the emotional eating. But I realized that many of you haven't read my book, so I just want to, by the way, I have my cat here. Yeah, she's sleeping. So if you haven't read my book, then I just want to put this information out there because many people wonder about emotional eating. What I want to say is that I thought that I had an emotional eating problem, and actually this video is gonna be very similar to the video I did about sugar addiction in eating disorder recovery, and I will link the video somewhere, I think here or here, and yeah, and watch the video because the message is quite similar. And the baseline is that I thought I was eating emotionally, and this is the problem. My emotions, I can't control my eating because of like whenever I felt guilty or sad or whatever, then like this triggered my like emotional eating. But actually it wasn't because of my emotions or something was like wrong with me mentally. It was simply because I was restricting and dieting. And if you are restricting and dieting, then like your eating will feel like emotional eating. I have my laptop here as well, and I just googled like the first site, like the symptoms of emotional eating, and I will read them, and then you understand like how similar are those symptoms to somebody who is dieting, restricting, and has an eating disorder. Like, are they really emotional eaters, or are they simply coming from a background of dieting and restricting? Because if you are dieting and restricting, you're gonna have all of the symptoms of emotional eating. But again, the reason is not your like the emotions or whatever. The reason is simply because you are dieting and restricting. And this is why, like after recovering from my eating disorder, I stopped dieting and restricting. Like all of my emotional eating symptoms disappeared, and now I can be sad, like I can cry, I can be upset or have like very difficult emotions or whatever, but I don't eat like I don't turn to food anymore. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna read the symptoms for you. So what is emotional eating? Basically, emotional hunger comes on suddenly. Emotional hunger craves specific comfort foods. Emotional hunger often leads to mindless eating. Emotional hunger isn't satisfied once you're full. Emotional hunger isn't located in the stomach. Emotional hunger often leads to regret, guilt, and shame. And I had all of these symptoms, and this is why I thought I'm an emotional eater. But actually, these are all the symptoms you can get when you're simply dieting and restricting. Like you can have all of the symptoms, and you don't have to fix all of your emotions to recover from this. But actually, you simply need to stop dieting and restricting. So, and I think it's very important to identify like what is the real reason here. The reason are not your emotions, but the reason is that you are underlying like dieting and restricting. Because people who try to recover from emotional eating, actually they don't address that they are still dieting and restricting. So that's why it's very important to identify what is the real cause here. And I also want to say that if you are eating like emotionally because, I don't know, you broke up with your boyfriend or you feel lonely and you want to eat like a pint of ice cream, like it's not necessarily a problem. You only make it the problem when you add the diet mindset to it, or the weight control mindset. Because if we wouldn't worry about gaining weight from eating this ice cream, we wouldn't actually worry about this emotional eating. But because we have the obsession of weight control in the back of our minds, only this is why we are so worried about emotional eating and we want to stop the emotional eating. And sure, like even I sometimes, maybe I'm not specifically hungry, but I crave something and I eat it. And maybe I have some emotions behind it, like I don't know, but I don't restrict myself, and it's never a problem. It doesn't send me into binge mode. But if you crave something emotionally, let's say, and you tell yourself that it's not okay to eat this, you feel guilty, you feel shameful, then for sure, like this will lead you to binge eat and binge emotionally or whatever. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that if you do feel you're eating emotionally, then there is nothing wrong with that, unless you label it as not okay, and yeah, you add the diet mindset to it basically. And I really like how Isabel Foxton Duke, and I can link her website down below, I really like how she has the mindset towards the emotional eating, and she talks a lot about the diet mindset as well, and she says exactly that emotional eating is not a problem unless you have the underlying obsession about your weight or the weight control, and you tell yourself that in some way eating is not okay. And she calls this like don't eat emotionally diet, because if you tell yourself that eating emotionally is not okay, then basically you are applying a diet mindset to it. And if you have seen one of my last videos, then diet mindset will directly cause all sorts of like abnormal eating behaviors, and like binge eating, food obsessions, and yeah, basically like out of tune hunger cues. So this is what I wanted to say. I hope you like this video, and actually I have a free video course on my website, so you can check it out. And please comment, please subscribe, please like this video, and I guess I see you next time. Bye.